Already two great lessons is showing up, like you're showing up and meeting people, like you knew that on-set photographer and he knew you, so it was, you built a
Yes.
relationship and that got you into your first short film, which then won an award. And then when you were younger, just the idea of make things, create things, put stuff out there.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
love it, just do it and good things will come from it. And I think
I
that
Yes, I agree, because even like, so at Christmas, like holidays, I would be like planning stuff before the holidays and like booking time with my friend. Can you sleep over this time? Like I would never just like goof off, if that makes sense. Like I was
right.
always like creating something. And like now, if I was a kid now, I would be like some sort of influencer person, because
Right.
I just had this like, so I was always just making product. I was always like, my poor parents had to sit through it and they were just like, what is this? And sometimes it was very boring, for sure. But then I made this movie called Fungi Woman, because
Wow.
yeah, she
Okay.
would kill fungus everywhere she went.
Interesting.
She what? Say that again.
Kill fungus. Like, so like if you had like a pear or an apple in it, you know how it like turns?
Yeah.
She would come and she would be like, no, I got this. It's fine.
You were like an antibiotic.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were a penicillin lady.
Where did the inspiration for Fungus Woman come from?
No, and then her arch enemy was Spore Man.
Wow, that's creative. That could be a
I
cartoon.
Spore Man. I put a garbage bag over my body, and
It's
Nice.
Spore Man.
yeah. And then we have a fight. We have a duel, and she wins, of course. But yeah, so that actually was out of my brain. But a lot of them were homages to.
Do you remember where the inspiration for Fungus Girl came from?
Fungi Woman.
Fungi Woman.
Yeah, there was a part 2 that I did. There was part 1 and part 2. And I forget who was the arch enemy in part 2. It was somebody else. You get to I kidnap a princess. Because I played the bad guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I put something over my face. I remember I put like some lace thing over, because I just knew I didn't read well on camera. It was crazy. Like I had a moment where I like was like, the classic ugly duckling swan thing. So it was like ugly duckling vibes back then. But I was just like, I don't know. I was just learning my craft. Is I think the point is that so like in front of camera, how I read scenes, like the story, the arc of the story, like all that stuff, I was like just doing and learning. And then at nighttime, I wouldn't get invited to like parties or anything, and so I would watch Saturday Night Live. And then I got obsessed with it. Then I wanted to watch all the old, with Belushi, Radner, Aykroyd, like all of them. And then I went through the 80s. Then I went like, so it was like, I was just learning so much. And then I was watching movies, like old, like black and white movies. Like it's almost like I schooled myself in a way.
That's great.
And then when I was working for the magazine, then yeah, like I got pulled into it. And then I just knew, because the photographer was like, how do you know how to like pose and stuff? And I'm like, I don't know. I think just from watching all that stuff, I just knew what to do.
You knew your angles.
Yeah. Like I like knew my angles. I knew how to like, I just knew. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I just like, and then it like snowballed. It was crazy. I like got these like big ad campaigns, and then my parents, they were just like, because they're in finance and whatnot, and they work on like Bay Street. And so they were like, corporate job, security, which is fair, because parents, they want, that for you. And then, so they didn't support me. So I was just like, I'm doing this. And then they saw me on ads in the subway, and they saw me on like billboards, and they're like, okay, how is she doing this? Okay, they were just like, they couldn't believe it. And then they just started like, they were just like proud, I guess. And then they were like, okay, we'll support her. She's obviously making moves and she's serious. So it went from there.